Hello and welcome back to my For Honor tutorial series where I teach you how to master each character. Today we're going to be looking at the Viking assassin called the Berzerker. If I'm being honest, the Berzerker would actually be probably the last person I would want to do a video on, simply just because she wasn't really appealing to me. I didn't really think she was very cool, and I got a few requests on Twitter and the comments on the last video that people wanted to see the Berzerker, so here you go. The Berzerker has a lot of moves. I mean, not anything crazy. Like, there's some infinite moves, and there's some moves where it's an uninterruptible stance because she is a harasser. She has a lot of dodge moves, kind of like the Orochi, where she dodges one way, spins around, and hits them. It's kind of hard to read, but I mean, people notice it right away when they see that you are like dodging to one way. They're like, okay, they're gonna swing that way, which is a perfect way you can actually juke them out. Because if you wanna go one way, they might try to parry, and they might attack you, and nope, you didn't swing, so you can parry them, guard break them, and get a few hits. Now, my favorite thing about the Berzerker is she can do a cancelled overhead heavy into like a light overhead or from the side. So what you gotta do, have your guard up and go for a heavy attack, and right after you do the heavy attack, you want to press B, circle, or whatever it is on PC, and you will end up like fainting it out, so your character kind of goes like, there's like an invisible version of your character. It's just cosmetic, but anyways, you can end up not actually hitting them, and you can go for a quick hit to the side, which does moderate damage. It's not insane. Another great thing about the Berzerker is when she dodges against an attack somehow, or something like how the Orochi does it, where like he'll glide underneath your sword and then stab you for an unblockable. It's similar to that, except she can, if she does that, if you press RT or RB, you can actually guard break them, no matter the range. The best thing about the Berzerker is that she actually is very tough to, notice what she's doing, because her guards are so hidden most of the time. And she's really good at defending and parrying people and getting rid of their stamina, and then once they get rid of their stamina, you can do the glide thing if they try to hit when they're out of stamina or on their last hit with stamina. Instantly guard break them, knock them down, and get a few heavy hits. Like, just mix it up, hit them with a heavy hit, and then another one from the other side and one from the over top, and normally people don't expect it. One tip about the Berzerker is never use her Headcrusher. It's where you lunge forward and then do a heavy attack, and you like jump up in the air and slam down. It's one of the most punishable moves in the game. If they block it, they can guard break you really easily. They parry it, it's even worse, and assassins can dodge it like it's nothing. So I would recommend not using that. I mean, there is the head slicer, which is not interruptible, but it's also like a forward dash, and you do a light, which is like faster and less expected. Also, if you knock them down out of a guard break, if they're out of stamina, don't lunge at them and do it. Like, don't do the head crusher that I just said not to do, even when they're down, because if you just walk up to them while they're falling, and then by the time they're on the ground, you're near them, you can just hit them with the side heavy, and then you can mix it up, and it does more damage, and it's just overall way better. Now, the Berzerker zone attack is crazy. People get really intimidated when you use it against them. I know from personal experience. In the beta, when I never used her, I would just always get afraid of that move. I was like, whoa, I'm getting attacked like super fast. I don't know what to do. Pretty much what you do, you just kind of spin in circles with your two axes and do crazy attacks. Although they can block you halfway through the string, it's just really crazy. Like, if they try to attack you, you can kind of counterattack them with that. I would say the worst person to go up against the Berzerker with, like as in like the Berzerker is best at killing, I would have to say probably the Orochi or the Valkyrie. They're both, something about them, I know they're kind of different characters, but just something about them, every time I would verse them, it would be way easier. Nobushi is really hard to verse against with the Berzerker because the Berzerker is all close range, and the Nobushi keeps her distance. Same with the Kensei, but the Kensei, he's just easy to counter with anybody, really. Now, her feats are a little odd. I mean, they're cool. They're pretty simple, though. There's the ones that you would use that aren't passive are ones where you can throw axes. I'm talking about the default ones, like the ones you start off with. You can throw axes 2 times in one life, and then I think it recharges. But you can't throw them like right one after another, because that would just be kind of OP. Her other one is her 4th feat. When you go get 6 kills, I think, or 5 kills, you can press right on the D-pad, and you will have insane speed, damage, and defense for a little bit of time. It's really good in situations where you may be using like revenge, like if you're on a 2v1 or 3v1. Her passive feats are really cool. There's Bounty Hunter, where when she kills somebody, like an actual player, not any minions or whatever they're called, she gains extra health and stamina. And her other one is when she attacks, she refills the revenge meter, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to talk about the feats that are unlocked later on, like if you upgrade yourself or like level up or buy all of them right away with 4,000 coins. There is Rush, where you run really fast. There's a trap that stuns enemies. There's a bear trap, which is pretty sick. It like damages them, and it'll damage enemies and it'll keep them still for a couple seconds. There is one where she places down like a flag or a banner, where she in that zone, it's a pretty big zone, and if enemies are inside the zone, they actually get less attack damage and less defense. There's also the bleed one that the Peacekeeper has. I think the Orochi might have it too, or Kensei, I can't remember. And it's where like your blades go purple and every hit you do does damage, aka like bleeding damage or poison, where they get damaged over time. But it also does the initial damage too. It's great. And her other one for her third feat is just like the one that I told you before, where it upgrades your sprint and attacking, except it only increases your speed slightly. But it doesn't matter, because I don't know if you can combine them. If you use Fury and Berzerker at the same time, you can be like super damage, super defense, and super speed. It could be crazy if you could combine those two at the same time. You also have a Molotov or a Fire Flask, and it's just a Molotov, so there's fire in a certain area, and it damages enemies over time. And then the last one that you have that you unlock at level 19 is the one called Fear itself, and it's where enemies around you have lower stamina, regeneration, and defenses. So I'm assuming if you hit them and they block it without parrying, they'll either take damage or just have their stamina lowered a lot. One real quick tip I want to let you guys know is that her zone attack can actually be combined with another attack, such as like an overhead or something. So if you want to do like a light overhead and then her zone, it's really trippy, and if you block the first attack without parrying and you're not expecting the side attack, like the zone, to come, you're going to get damaged a lot. So yeah, that's going to be it for the Berzerker tutorial. Let me know in the comments who you want me to do next. Subscribe, like, and yeah, peace.